What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is the top 10 tourist traps in the US. Who's this video by?
Kyle.
Howdy. You got it wrong. you meant to say howdy, I meant to say Kyle. We haven't practiced this, by the way. It is from Kyle.
You said, who's it from? It's not from Howdy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You
are
messed
right.
that up, yeah.
Fair play, fair play. Give me a high five.
No, apologies.
Well, for that, you can set the like goal.
Oh, it's a geography thing video, isn't it? So, 2,400.
2,400 likes. Smash that like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. And what do they get today if they smash that like button?
You get a second video.
This is the second video.
Crap.
Smash that like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. And are you ready for the top 10 tourist traps? This is Cal's, by the way. This is Cal's list. So it's not going to be your typical Empire State Building, your Statue of Liberty. I think it's going to be more of a quainty kind of places and stuff like that. So it's going to be something you're not expecting. Probably something we've not heard of, unless, well, you never know, it might be. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be like quainty, awesome ones, which is good because it gives us an idea other than what we always hear, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Let's get into it. Top 10 tourist traps in the US. What we got?
I'm in a weird mood today.
You're right.
Howdy, it's Kyle.
Howdy.
Hey there, it's Kyle talking about tourist traps.
I think it was broke my computer. I think the earphones came out. That's right.
What's he talking about? What's he playing at?
I don't know. I'm going to put the earphones back in.
What's he playing at?
I did not expect that.
Nah, I don't like it. Turn it off. Skip. Switch videos. This is not a good video.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to hear him. Right, well, what was it? Hey there. Oh, Kyle. Are you ready?
He's messed me all up.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey there. Did he even say it's Kyle?
Hey there. I don't know. I did think we get that far.
Hey there, it's Kyle talking about tourist traps, and they are as they sound. They're places that promise you riches of excitement and then leave you wishing you spent your time and money elsewhere. But in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 tourist traps that are actually worth visiting. There are two types of tourist traps I'll be discussing in this video.
Up to his
the first are the roadside ones. You'll see a bunch of billboards for these along the interstate. And the other ones are certain parts of cities where tourists go to. So every big city that has a lot of tourists has that certain part of town where it's almost entirely tourists going there. So in this video, I'll be mentioning several of each
the whole of New York.
If there are any tourist traps that I didn't mention in this video that you think are worth visiting, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, let's get started with this list. The first is the Meteor Crater in Arizona, and it's not very far from Interstate 40 as you drive across the state, and I do think it's really cool.
There is actually a road leading up to it.
That's cool.
Like, I imagine that'd be pretty cool to go and see.
I thought it was a shadow, to be fair, first.
Oh, the whole thing. Oh, okay. Okay, I can see that, yeah. Which, again, Meteor Crater, I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's an actual meteor. Which is hit.
Sick.
Let us know if that is an actual meteor and it's not just like a bit of land which looks like it has.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for the name it is an actual meteor.
It's real, yeah.
But I imagine that must be amazing to go and see.
Yeah,
if it
kind
is.
Of like almost not scary, but do you know what I mean?
Just like,
weird.
It's just like, and I imagine it's like, look how small that looks. I imagine it's huge when it actually stood there. Let us know in the comments.
And we're seeing. And it's really hard to give it justice from the photos, but it is just a giant hole in the ground. And when you see it in person, you're like, wow, something this big hit the earth. And yeah, something this big hit the earth. There really isn't a whole lot to see or do there. There's a little visitor center where there's some little displays. And basically what you do is just kind of walk around the impact crater, which is pretty impressive. But there isn't a whole lot else you're going to do there. You might spend maybe 2 hours there tops. I didn't even mention the meteor crater in my video about road tripping in the Four Corners area. And I almost did, but the only negative with this attraction, it is kind of expensive. It's $18 per adult and $9 per kid. So, you know, a family of 4 is going to pay, what, $54 to visit it. So it can be kind of expensive for somewhere you're going to only spend a couple hours at. But, you know, where else are you going to see a giant impact crater? But here, there's literally nowhere else in the U.S. you can see it. So I do think it's worth it, even though it's kind of expensive. The second is the Pike Public Market in Seattle. And you've seen video of this a million times on travel shows and stuff. And it's most well known as the place where the dudes throw a fish. And, you know, if you buy a fish, they'll throw one to you if you want to do that. And, of course, you have a big seafood market there. So if you're interested in some fresh seafood, it's the best place to go. But It's also pretty well known for its large flower market, so if you're interested in that, there's a lot of cool stuff there. There's also a lot of cool food vendors and other types of vendors that aren't selling seafood or flowers. So I think it is worth checking out, even though it is almost entirely tourist visiting.
$5.
Every big city has a public market like this, and the one in Seattle is one of the best ones in the country. So don't not visit it thinking it's going to be just a giant tourist trap. I mean, it kind of is, but it is also worth seeing if you've never been to Seattle. Similarly, another tourist trap worth visiting is Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. And I know the locals really deride this place. Don't go there. It's a giant tourist trap. And, well, it is, but I do think it's worth visiting. There are several reasons why I recommend visiting Fisherman's Wharf. The first is that if you haven't been to the West Coast, then you've probably never seen sea lions. And you're pretty much guaranteed to see them sitting off the pier there. And
there's so many there. That's actually pretty cool. Just going up and I imagine I smell a bit. To be honest, I bet it does smell a bit fishy there, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
They're alive, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say it wouldn't be pretty cool to go and see if they weren't alive, but that must be pretty cool.
I like sea lions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, I don't eat fish, so the fish bits, like eating it, not a fan of. But going and look at them, I'll look at them.
You're gonna eat a sea lion?
No, I meant with the other bits where it's focused around like the fish markets and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, wow.
Can you eat sea lion? I imagine you probably can. If there's that many sea lion there, I imagine some people eat them, but don't do that. Leave the sea lion alone.
It's just whether it's deemed right.
Wow, that's deep.
That's a pretty cool sight to see if you've never seen that. The second is that Fisherman's Wharf is the launching pad for any cruises out in the bay. So if you're interested in taking a cruise under the Golden Gate Bridge or over to Sausalito or to Alcatraz, the boats are leaving from Fisherman's Wharf. And the third is that there are some genuinely cool shops in the area. And, I'm left-handed. I remember when I was a little kid, I'd go to Pier 39. There's a left-handed store there. I was like, oh, this is so cool. There's a store for people like me.
Wow.
And, there are some pretty neat shops on Pier 39. But, again, it is just a big tourist trap. The main road that goes through the area is super kitschy. There's a lot of street performers, but I think the street performers in the Fisherman's Wharf area are the most talented street performers in the country. But there is a lot of just trashy stuff on that area as well. But overall, I do think Fisherman's Wharf is worth seeing. I've been to San Francisco a million times. It's not somewhere I go anymore, but if you've never been there, do make sure you see it. If you're only going to be there for a short period of time, don't only see Fisherman's Wharf, but if you're going to be there for 2-3 days or so, definitely take the time to see the wharf area, even though, again, it is a giant tourist trap. The fourth one I'm going to mention isn't really a tourist trap per se, but it is worth discussing. That's called Russell's Travel Center in eastern New Mexico, and it's literally just a gas station and travel center off of I-40. But why I recommend stopping there is once you go in there, it's more than just a travel center. There's also a classic car museum. So I'm not sure why, but there's a huge collection of classic cars and lots of really cool ones as well. A lot of 50s and 60s memorabilia on the walls and some stuff that, sells stuff like that as well. So when we first went there, we were like, what is this? We ended up spending a lot more time there than we expected. So if you're on a road trip, you're probably budgeting a certain amount of time for, stops for gas, but do budget a little more time for this stop, especially if you're into old cars, because you really might find yourself spending a half an hour or more at Russell's Travel Center in eastern New Mexico.
Why not?
The fifth one I'm going to mention is Niagara Falls, and there are two aspects to visiting Niagara Falls. One is the actual physical attraction itself, and it is fantastic. It's one of the most impressive waterfalls in the world, and certainly something you're going to want to see. Right. But the other side of visiting Niagara Falls is the city itself, which is just a giant tourist trap. It's really kitschy, really cheesy. It's a train wreck of kitsch. And as an American, one thing that's pretty cool is that it's the only place on the U.S.-Canada border where the Canadian side is worse. All that cheesy tourist stuff is on the Canadian side. But again, don't not visit Niagara Falls because it is so cheesy and touristy. Don't let it detract from the actual waterfall itself, which is gorgeous and something you're certainly going to want to see. The sixth one I'll mention is the world's largest buffalo in Jamestown, North Dakota. And I'm not really big on these world's largest things you'll see signs for off the interstate.
I thought it was going to be a real one. It would just go and see this absolutely massive. Yeah. But I like that cooler.
But imagine if it was real, a massive one, and you spent all that money going over there, and then it just died, the day before. So you were going.
You are in a weird mood today.
And you couldn't see it because he was dead.
What have you drank today?
I just got visions of people paying £1,000 to travel from the UK to go and see this big buffalo.
Well, yeah.
But there are several reasons why I think this one is we're stopping at. The first, that it's right off the interstate, so you don't have to go way out of the way, so it'll take you really less than 5 minutes to even get to it. The second is that there's kind of a small frontier village with some old, buildings there. It's not anything spectacular, but, the kids might like it. And, again, it is right off the interstate and it's free. There is a small museum there that isn't free, but it does go to a good cause. It's good for, buffalo conservation, the people that really are into buffalo and bison research. And there's a chance you'll see a small bison herd and possibly even a white buffalo. But
they're not the building.
I'm not into stuffed things.
Yeah, the stuffed ones are a bit weird.
That creeps me out.
Chances are pretty slim of seeing them, but the reasons why the chances are slim are actually a good reason because they have 200 acres of land to roam around. So these aren't kept in a small pen, like some of those sketchy roadside zoos where people can go up and pet the animals. These are pretty good people, so you'll only have a chance to see them if they happen to be near the buildings themselves. And then there's the world's largest buffalo itself. You can take your picture with it.
Show me alive.
If you're going to stop there, obviously get a picture of the world's largest buffalo, Jamestown, North Dakota. The 7th one on this list is the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. And there are a few reasons why I think this one's worth visiting. The first, that it's not very far from the interstate. It's only a couple of miles, so you don't have to go way far out of the way to see it. And it's a pretty cool sight. Everything on the outside of it is made out of corn. So you have these pretty cool murals that change each year, depending on the theme of the year. And it's a pretty cool thing to see. It's free to go inside. It's just kind of a cheesy shop. There's some corn-related stuff. It's mostly made in China kind of stuff. But, it is kind of interesting to see all this kind of cheesy kitsch. And it's interesting enough, it's also a basketball court. So during the winter, when there aren't many tourists going through there, this is where the local high school basketball team plays.
Wow, a little cold.
And another reason why I think it's worth stopping it is that when you're driving across South Dakota on I-90, it's a really boring drive going across Minnesota and eastern South Dakota. So you'll probably want a spot to stretch your legs. And so again, you can just go a couple of miles off the interstate, see a pretty funky tourist attraction that's completely free, and stretch your legs a little bit.
Funky's the word, isn't it?
Tourist trap
It is
I
cool.
think is worth seeing is the Fort Worth Stockyards. And this is just an area where you got some shops, and it's kind of some Texas kitsch kind of stuff. But there are some pretty cool shops there as well. You got a cattle drive that goes on there. It's not the most realistic cattle drive in the world. The cows look like they just really don't want to be there because they probably don't. But it is kind of a cool, slice of Texas to see. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I think Dallas is kind of one of the...
They are real.
They're real?
You're on one today.
Why are they not why are they just free?
Because they're sensible. If you walk down the road, if someone asked you to walk down the road in a straight line, could you do it?
Yeah, but
so why can't these? Yeah, why can't it?
I mean, is that a cow? Because it's got
I believe in it. I believe in it.
One of the most boring big cities to visit. There isn't really a whole lot to do if you're a tourist, but I think Fort Worth is much more interesting, and the stockyards are a pretty cool sight to see. It's very Texas, even though it is kind of a tourist trap. But just like Fisherman's Wharf, there are some genuinely cool shops there. You can get some really nice boots, some good hats, and
good word.
You can also get some really cheesy shot glasses too. But there are some pretty cool things to see. So I do think it's worth stopping at the Fort Worth Stockyards. The 9th one I'm going to mention is Old Sacramento, and this is right next to downtown, right along the Sacramento River. It's pretty well preserved. The buildings are in pretty good shape. You got the wooden planked sidewalk kind of thing, and you got the cheesy carriage rides, and there are some pretty interesting shops and things there. The food there isn't very good. Really no good restaurants there, but you can take the paddle wheel boat rides, and one thing that's really cool about it is the train museum. So
yeah, if you go, you're not gonna have a food, but you have a good time. But you may die. No, you won't get poisoned. You won't. I'm sure they do lovely food there.
I'm sure.
Whether you're into trains or not, this is a really nice museum. I do strongly recommend visiting there. It is a very touristy part of town, but I do think it's worth seeing because it's one of the best preserved Old West areas in the country. And let's get real here. Sacramento is the single most important city on the planet because that's where I was born. So that alone makes it the most important city on the surface of planet Earth. But, if you're in Sacramento, make sure you do stop to see Old Sacramento. And the last one I'm going to mention is the granddaddy of all tourist traps in the U.S., probably in the world even. That's Times Square, New York City. We've all seen Times Square so many times on TV.
It is amazing.
Movies. It's almost like we're super familiar with it. The ball dropping, New Year's kind of stuff. And,
do you know what was weird, though? Is that when we went to take our foot on the steps, it was like really early in the morning, wasn't it? And it was dead compared to what it was when we went back in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was like 6 in the morning.
Like no one. And they said it doesn't sleep. It does. I can confirm.
Well, were we sleeping?
No, but like...
And was we in New York?
Yeah.
So was New York not sleeping?
No, it wasn't. That's my point.
We were in New York, and it wasn't sleeping, so it didn't sleep.
Wait. No, like it was dead. It was dead.
Yeah, but who took our photo?
Some random guy on
From
the
New
set.
York, so they weren't sleeping.
They weren't from New York.
How do you know? Did you ask? Or did you assume?
Well, I just assumed by
there
their
you
accent
go.
they
Smash
were.
that like button, guys. Smash that subscribe button. It is weird, though. At night, it does feel like day, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Like,
that's from the
that is very
lights,
sharp.
isn't it, I think?
Is it? This video's been a shambles. This video's been...
I'm so tired.
By the way, I promise you, we haven't drank or anything like that. We've just been super busy today and we just thought we'll record now. And I think we're just tired. And it's been a shambles. Pretty much.
This is why we record early.
This is why we normally record early, yeah.
Every movie that takes place in New York, at some point, they're in Times Square. And I think a lot of folks that haven't been to New York don't realize that Times Square is the tourist trap part of the city, and it is. It's pretty much all tourists there.
They got
a
rid
lot
of
of just
McDonald's.
cheesy stuff going on. You got some really annoying street performers that aren't like the ones in Fisherman's Wharf that are actually talented. The ones in New York tend to be people dressed up in costumes that'll charge you $10 to take a picture with them. So, again, it is very cheesy, but it is a slice of New York that you've seen a million times. And if you're going to go to New York,
Went there.
you have to see Times Square, even though it is just a giant tourist
Got a blanket.
trap. So there's my list of 10 tourist traps.
There you go. That was a good list, Cal. I'm disappointed still by the start.
Why?
Because you didn't say howdy.
Oh, yeah.
But smash that button. Again, it was quite a good one. To be fair, I enjoyed that list because it threw in quite a few big ones, so you couldn't be like, I can't believe you didn't include that. But also threw in quite a lot of niche. You've got to kind of like that, but if you're passing, you may as well go in and you're probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Some
you.
very niche ones. I really enjoyed it. Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
Smash that like button, guys. Smash that subscribe button as well, you absolute legends. This video's been a shambles. So what should you guys do?
We should have a good day.
Have a good day, not a fantastic day.
Oh, have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you, legends, in the next one. Peace.